Hey, what is up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here with a Royal Rumble review. I love Royal Rumble time of year, and last night I was able to pop in Royal Rumble 2007. I'm acting like I'm putting the DVD in the DVD player, but I'm just firing up the good old network. I'm just not used to it. I still haven't let go of all those DVDs or DVD passed. You know, it's so much easier just to press the button on the network and then boom, there it is. I just wish that honestly on the newer edition of Apple TV, it would be easier to skip through the pay-per-views to get to the point you want to get to. On my older Apple TV, if I press the down button, it puts a bunch of like notches in the show. They don't always add up with, you know, where the ending of a match is or the beginning of a segment is, but they're normally really close to it, whoever put those markers in there. But you know, it is what it is. I watched the 2007 Royal Rumble. I honestly picked this one because it started playing after I watched the 2006 Royal Rumble, the one that was won by Rey Mysterio. And I just decided that I would continue on and go with it. I can honestly tell you that I only watched the Rumble on this one. I was not sucked in to watch two more championship matches like I was on the 2006 show. This Rumble to me really didn't have a lot of fanfare, didn't really have a lot of backstories to it. I can't really remember watching wrestling at this time, although I know that I was into it. I came back somewhere around 2005, so the only really thing I can really think of that was really going on at this time was, I believe, Rated RKO was together with Edge and Randy Orton, and they played together in the Royal Rumble itself. Everything else leading up until WrestleMania 23 is kind of a blur over what happened. I mean, I knew who the Royal Rumble winner was going to be, but I didn't know how things were really going to pan out. To me, this Rumble just felt like it was a lot of guys from Raw, from SmackDown, and ECW. I don't think there was any sort of secret returns or people that, were legends that were no longer with the company. I just think that they had enough guys because they had three brands at the time that they just used those. Drawing number one was Ric Flair, which was really funny because there was a segment right before the show started, which looked like it was supposed to be shown live of people drawing their balls. And Ric Flair was the last one to draw his number out of the lottery bin. And when he did, he danced with Team Extreme. Not Team Extreme. I forgot their names. Brooke, Kelly, and shoot. Oh, I can't remember the other one's name. I can see. Look, and that's dang it. I can't remember her name to save my life. She did have a good long career. She was with Michelle McCool for a while. She got injured and then she got released upon, finally coming back. But Flair danced. He was the last one to get there, and he said, "Save the best for last." And it ended up being that the last ball was the worst ball because he came out at number one. He was joined by Finlay, letting the two old guys of the Rumble basically go out there. The only time I've ever really thought of seeing Finlay and Ric Flair in the same ring at the same time, and maybe that's what they went with. Flair didn't last long in the Rumble at this time, only about 5 minutes, but Finlay was in there for well over 30. He was in there for a good part of this thing. Coming out number 3 was Kenny Dykstra, a guy that honestly, at this time the Spirit Squad had ended, and I can remember that when the time that the Spirit Squad was together, people were really high on this guy. They thought that he was going to be the main event guy that was going to move into there. He was having matches against Triple H on house shows, and they were really getting him ready for that big time push. I know that now we've heard stories come out of basically, I guess, a love triangle between Kenny Dykstra, Mickie James, and John Cena. I don't know what that led to his release. But I can honestly say that when his release did come, I was really surprised that they didn't keep this guy around after thinking so high of him and just sort of giving up on him so fast. We saw Matt Hardy come out at number 4. We saw Edge at number 5, followed by 2 guys from ECW, Tommy Dreamer and Sabu. Sabu, this guy, straight idiot move here. I know that you want to get your gimmick over, but Sabu comes running down with a table, and he sets it up outside of the ring. I can understand if you want to use the table to sort of maybe weaken somebody up during a match and set them up for a pinfall. If you set up a table outside of the ring, they have to go over the top rope to go through the table. They're already eliminated. They ain't coming back. Well, I got good news for you. Sabu put the table there, and Sabu's the one who went through it. There would be a couple numbers later, but Kane, upon his entrance into the Royal Rumble, ended up slamming Sabu over the top rope right through that damn table. Dumb move, buddy. Didn't make any sense at all when you were doing it, and I knew that you were going to pay for it. We had Gregory Helms, Shelton Benjamin, CM Punk coming in at number 11 for his first Royal Rumble, followed by King Booker, Super Crazy, Jeff Hardy, The Sandman, Randy Orton comes in at number 16, Chris Benoit at number 17, Rob Van Dam of the ECW brand came in at number 18, Viscera, easily the biggest guy inside of this Rumble, and you can really tell that it took a lot of guys to get Viscera over the top rope. A lot of time people just ganging up on him, everybody on him. We had Johnny Nitro, Kevin Thorne, Hardcore Holly coming in at number 22. Number 23, one of those sort of lucky spots for a lot of guys to get in. Shawn Michaels joined the fun. Upon entering the Royal Rumble, Michaels came down, but everybody was all tied up with Viscera over on the corner, and we had Michaels working a few spots. Shoot, I can't remember who he was beating up. Might have been Finlay. And I'm not 100% sure, but he ended up hitting a sweet chin music, and it honestly looked like he had the whole ring to himself the way they were shooting it. Once that Michaels was able to eliminate the guy from the Rumble, then we finally see that Viscera is over on the middle rope, fighting everybody off as they're trying to put him over the top. As he shakes himself free, he's met with a sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels, and then the team of Rob Van Dam, Edge, CM Punk, Chris Benoit, Johnny Nitro, Shelton Benjamin, Hardcore Holly, and Kevin Thorne all eliminate Viscera from the Royal Rumble. From there we go on to Chris Masters, Chavo Guerrero, MVP, Carlito, the Great Khali, The Miz, and then the big number 30 ended up being The Undertaker. Taker coming in at number 30. There was only a few guys left in here. I think that he eliminated the Great Khali. And then he eliminated MVP, which would leave the final 4 of Edge, Randy Orton, The Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels. Everybody did the thing where they sort of square off into a corner to take a breather for a second, sort of, feel out what's going on in there. And as Orton went in for the attack, he turned around at the last moment to find out that Edge was getting ready to attack him. They were able to get their alliance back together before going over and attacking The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels was able to sneak up from behind where he would eliminate Edge and Randy Orton, leaving Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in the ring at the same time. Right here, I don't know if Michaels and The Undertaker were trying to find a way to work together. It would take until WrestleMania 25 for them to have a real match. But here at the end of the Royal Rumble, this is the first time I can really thinking that, so many times they have the final 4 where they square off, they take their breather, and it's only a moment before everybody's tossed out and we have the one guy left in there. This is the first time that they really squared off and had a singles match basically inside of the Royal Rumble between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. It seems to be they've done this almost every time since. I can remember Batista and Roman Reigns. I remember Dean Ambrose and Triple H. Just it comes down to the last 2 dudes, and they basically want to put on a singles match where you have to throw the guy over the top rope. Michaels ends up taking a choke slam, but then upon getting back up on his feet, he was able to hit the Sweet Chin Music on The Undertaker, which knocked him down, as Michaels ended up going for a second Sweet Chin Music. The Undertaker was able to get out of the way, where Michaels ended up going over the top, and The Undertaker was crowned the winner of the Royal Rumble. From here, The Undertaker got the chance to pick who he was going to take on at WrestleMania. They would sort of play up of basically Undertaker showing up on Raw, SmackDown, and ECW, having face-to-face stare-downs with all three champions, who at the time would be Bobby Lashley, Batista, and shoot, I can't remember who the guy was on Monday Night Raw who was the champion at the time, but odds are it was probably Cena. But from there, basically, The Undertaker chose that he was going to go on and he was going to have a match against Batista, possibly one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. Honestly, it was a really, really good WrestleMania 23 all around. We ended up getting Shawn Michaels becoming the #1 contender, going up against John Cena. So it was like the last two guys of the Royal Rumble. Undertaker gets all the glory. It goes on the bottom of his Wikipedia page that he won, but Michaels still got the championship shot against Cena. That's how that one's going to finish off. This is sort of a forgettable Royal Rumble. Not a lot of big spots in this one or big time, returns. So I'll tell you not to go out of your way to love this one or check it out. But if you want to watch them all, you got to see it once.